Alright, this is my first of what I hope to be an, a series of question and answer videos, assuming I get more questions. But, yeah, I've finally gotten some questions about some things people want to know about me. So that is what I'm going to be spending this video talking about. Um, I'm not going to necessarily read the questions verbatim, but I'm going to read them in a way, generally, that for the most part, as it's written. I might make a few alterations. Anyway, let's get right into that. Heaven or hell? Duel 1. Let's rock. Alright, first question. What makes you? Me being freaking amazing makes me, because I am just that cool. What is the average breakfast in the day of your life? Honestly, I don't really eat breakfast that much. When I'm in school, I never have anything before I leave. I inevitably have something picked from a vending machine. Usually, before I ended this semester, I actually started buying some apple juice, depending on what I could find. If I could find them, I'd get goldfish. Actually, sometimes before afternoon, I'd actually get some pizza from the one walkway. But in breakfast, I really didn't. Nowadays, I don't even wake up in time to have breakfast. So, yeah. Do you work out? Yeah, I do exercise. A lot, mostly cardiovascular. I run a lot, and since I don't drive, I use run and or rollerblade places. Like, for instance, when I go to work, I've been taking my rollerblades since now it's warm and it's been nice out. I've just been taking my rollerblades to work. Strength training, I haven't been, and I really should be. I have a gym membership. My mother pays for it, and I haven't been going as much as I really should be. I went for a while. I started going regularly right before I had my surgery for hernia summer last year, and ever since then I haven't really been there at all. But I've been meaning to go back, so I do need to do that. What do you do to consume your normal afternoons? Depends on the day. Depends as well. Sometimes I'm not even up in the afternoon or late afternoon, but yeah, sometimes I go to work. Traditional. A lot of times I go into close where I work, so about would generally go in about 4 o'clock, so I'd leave about 3:30 or so. Sometimes I just play video games. It really depends on the day. Have you ever killed a man? Not that the police can prove, which is all that matters. Are you ready? I am always ready. Next. What type of anime do you like? This is a series. This comes from a series of anime-related questions. But what type of anime do I like? I mean, I'm not nearly as big of an anime fan as some other people I know, especially my brother, who watches quite a bit of anime. But I mean, I do watch anime. What type of anime do I like? It's a little tricky because, I mean, I don't have any necessarily preferred genre of anime. I mean, there's a number of different things that I'll watch. Before I go into what anime I like, I think it's worth noting how I started watching anime. Funny enough, the first anime that I can remember watching at any time is probably Sailor Moon, and I was in elementary school, I think like first grade, maybe I think it was first grade, but it was on, and it was kind of funny because I remember watching. I don't remember much about what I watched, but for some reason, all the bunch of kids in my school would call me Tuxedo Mask. I forget why. I don't remember what that was all about, but somehow that happened. So I started watching more anime when the Toonami block came around that's when I started watching like Dragon Ball Z and all this like and the Gundam series, shows like that. That's honestly where I started watching anime. Um, but yeah, I say I like giant mech rope anime. That's definitely a genre that I can say I like. Especially, I mean, I've watched a number of different Gundam series. Well, again, a lot of it on Toonami. Don't remember a lot about a lot of them. Um, the first one I believe Toonami ever showed, which is why it is and it's always been still my favorite, would be Gundam Wing. I don't remember, I don't know what it is about it, but just something about Gundam Wing I just really liked, and nothing against all the subsequent Gundam anime that I've seen, but something about Gundam Wing I just really always enjoyed. And once they showed an episode from the April 1st Adult Swim, the throwback Toonami, I can say safely that I still enjoy Gundam Wing. But yeah, I mean, different variety of anime. I'm not particularly picky. What type of anime do you dislike? That. In the same vein, that will also be difficult to answer. Try to think. Yeah, I really don't. I don't know if it'd be a genre of anime that I would dislike so much as how it's constructed. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't really say I dislike any particular genre of anime. I mean, maybe I wouldn't be a fan of like horror anime, but that really comes down to the fact that a lot of that stuff, not just anime, but media in general, I'm not very good with. So I just kind of makes me sick to my stomach, and I wouldn't even say I'm scared. It makes me nauseous. So maybe I could say I don't like horror anime or anything like that. But I mean, I don't think it's so much a dislike as it is just what happens when I try watching it. Are there any particular tropes, cliches, or genres of anime you dislike? I was thinking, again, genre and type in the same vein, but tropes and cliches. Well, I mean, I wonder. I mean, a lot of tropes and cliches I notice in anime, a lot of them aren't really exclusive to anime. I've seen, as watching professional wrestling as I do, you notice a lot of different tropes that, well, not exclusive to professional wrestling, can be seen in anime. I shouldn't even say I dislike this one, but I mean, like the main character being uber badass who like always wins. I mean, that's my prime example on that one would probably be Dragon Ball Z Goku. I mean, he didn't always win. That's not fair, but he was just like the guy. He just kind of always won. There's one, but that's not exclusive to anime. But like the main character getting his ass kicked, like throughout an arc or throughout like a particular point, but then when it really matters, just coming out of nowhere, some super uber technique that kicks the enemies. Which, again, another professional wrestling trope, which basically where the good guy gets his ass kicked for most of the match, hits his 5 moves of doom, and wins. John Cena. Yeah, maybe if I thought more about it, I could think of some other things, but I mean, something in the vein of that. Anyway, moving on. Do you have any favorite anime? If so, what are they? I'd say my favorite anime for a number of years has probably been Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, just for how ridiculous it is. Just how over the top it obviously does not take itself seriously, and you want to talk about giant mech show, gotta be some of the most ridiculous giant mechs I've ever seen, which is not a bad thing, and just over the top characters. yeah, I said the complete over-the-topness and ridiculous of it is, and badassness. Let's not forget that. Part of my username for a lot of things, including my YouTube account. The Kamina half comes from Gurren Lagann. Yeah, definitely that's my favorite. What other? I don't know if I'd what I'd say other for Gundam Wing. I definitely go back to Gundam Wing. I don't know. I think I'll go with those two for now. I'm sure there's some other Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star. That's definitely another one that I'd say one of my favorites. I don't even know how to explain why it's one of my favorites, but yeah, definitely one of ever since they showed on Toonami, definitely one of those animes that just clicked with me. Just amazing show. Definitely one of my favorites. You have any anime you hate? If so, what are they? Not off the top of my head. I can't think of any anime that I detest so much that I mean, I remember. Yeah, nothing I can think. I'm sure there's probably something or other that in the past that I've watched I didn't like, but nothing's coming to mind right now. If I can think of anything at a later point in time, I'll amend this, but yeah, nothing right now. You once said Ocarina of Time was probably your favorite video game. Is that still so? Yes. Um, what is it? What about it do you love so much aside from nostalgia? Well, I mean, good question. I never actually owned an N64. I played this as well as Majora Mask on my brother's N64 when he brought it over. I don't know. It was just something about it that I don't know. Especially for the time, it was rather a grandiose scale of excellent story, fun gameplay, and yeah, definitely had that. I'd say it epitomizes the Zelda feel. As far as for any Zelda game I've played, definitely. I still haven't yet. I've yet to get to Skyward Sword, but yeah, for any Zelda game I've ever played, which I haven't beaten all of them, but I think I've played most. I think the only one I remember, the only big one I know for sure I haven't played is Minish Cap. I think I've at least played most of them, but yeah, I definitely, in my opinion, epitomizes everything Zelda's ever been about, and the Zelda formula is one of my favorites. So, yes, reasons like that. What other video games do you consider some of your favorites? Definitely Sonic the Hedgehog, specifically Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Played a lot of Sonic 2 and both of those games actually when I was a child. Never actually beat Sonic 2 as a child. Didn't beat it. I'd say within the last few years is when I actually beat it. I think on the Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube. Just never could beat that final boss because he was a stupid twat. Sonic 3 and Knuckles beat plenty of times. Is all the characters with all the super emeralds. See, those are the big ones. Let's see. Other games I like. The game console I own definitely the most like console of choice for as a child was the Genesis because that's what I had and that's what I got and played a lot of games for. Never owned these games, but the Streets of Rage beat 'em up games were definitely extremely fun games. I especially remember Streets of Rage 3. That was definitely a fun game. Kind of sucked at that too, but yeah. Another game. The two X-Men Genesis games. Definitely another pair of fun games. Fun fact, I just within the last week or so I plugged in the first X-Men game for the Genesis and played it, and it kind of kicked my ass. I kind of suck. Definitely a testament to how much more difficult these games were back in the 90s than the late 80s. More modern games, definitely two of my favorite more modern series are the Phoenix Wright series and the Professor Layton series. Both two of my very favorite game series. I mean, technically, the Phoenix Wright, the Ace Attorney series began on the Game Boy Advance, but for all intents and purposes, for me, it was the DS, and I played the first one and just blew me away. And so I bought them every time since. I'd like to buy Ace Attorney Investigations too, but thanks Capcom, we don't get that. I'm totally not bitter. But, yeah, that and Professor Layton games. I remember, like, when I bought the first Professor Layton game, I bought it, like, I decided to buy it, like, I think I bought it around about when it came out, knowing pretty much nothing about it. It's just, like, I was hearing a lot of stuff. It's like, what is this game? So I bought it, and I played it, and another series I've bought in every game and beaten every game since. Extremely, I like their stories, the animations, extremely well done. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite game series. Yeah, I think that's it on that front. Moving on, when you were younger, did you have anyone you looked up to or aspired to be like, or at the very least wished you were more like? I don't know. I definitely looked up to my brother, and honestly, a lot of mannerisms that I still take today stem from knowing him. I mean, would hardly say that all my mannerisms come from him, and definitely at certain points I've diverged from how he conducts himself. But yeah, definitely he definitely played a big role in my development, especially in terms of personality and development in that area. I'd say when I was younger, he'd be the one I looked up to. Any particular reason you don't like to play RPGs on consoles anymore? Just haven't. I really just don't see many RPGs for consoles that I'm interested in anymore. Actually, I'll spend a lot less. And on that front, it's like, I could see how you think I don't play console RPGs anymore, but that's really a testament more to the fact that I don't do console gaming nearly as much as I do handheld gaming. It just, especially when I was at school, it's like I didn't have the time, and I really didn't feel like investing time just sitting on my. I mean, I play Call of Duty, but that's mindless. It's like any other games I kind of have to get into, and one of those. Never really. It's easier to just grab one of my handhelds, like my PSP, DS, 3DS, or Vita, and just pick up and play, and I can just bring it with me. And if I want to play, just flip it out wherever and just play a little bit. But yeah, it's not so much console RPGs as it is console gaming in general, other than Call of Duty. And we've talked. I'm almost 100% sure I've talked about Call of Duty at some point, or who am I fucking kidding? It's been more than once that I bitch about this. But anyway, moving on. Why are you such a meanie face to me sometimes? Because you deserve it. Alright, last set. What was the first concert you went to? 2008 August, Heaven and Hell, with supporting acts Motorhead and Testament. It was during the Metal Masters tour with those three and Judas Priest. I don't think it was technically a part of a date of the tour. Judas Priest didn't play this one, so it was Heaven and Hell, and Testament, Motorhead, then Heaven and Hell. First time I'd ever seen Testament. Actually, that is one of the two bands I have now seen twice. Theirs was the shortest, then Motorhead, which is a band I was happy to see because I like Motorhead. Then Heaven and Hell. Definitely a memorable concert, especially since it's the first and now the only time I've ever seen Ronnie James Dio perform live. Definitely a worthwhile show. Played the Dio Sabbath stuff. The Heaven and Hell album wasn't out at that time, but yeah, definitely played the Dio Sabbath stuff. Definitely Dio, man, it's just live. He just had that pipe. Even at over 60, he had the same pipe he had at 80. Definitely an amazing concert. What was the first album you bought? The Beatles' #1 hits. It's the red one with just the #1 with the yellow one. Yeah, definitely the first album I bought was that with all their #1 charting, their top charting singles. Still have that CD. I've destroyed the case by this point, but yeah, I still have that CD around. Not as big of a fan of Beatles as I am other bands, but I do like the Beatles. I prefer their more traditional rock thing to the experimental stuff that they've done. But yeah, I do like the Beatles. What are your top 5 favorite albums and why? I'm not gonna answer this as asked because I don't know. I couldn't say for sure what my top 5 favorite albums are. I would say probably the best contender for top album would probably Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time. Um, One of the few albums I say I don't. There's not one song that I really dislike or even only mildly like. Definitely like. I think I really like pretty much every song on the album. Um, Also, Iron Maiden actually, Brave New World might be under that because another album might same. I don't know. Yeah, Brave New World is definitely one. I'm wishy-washy on the Nomad. I like the Nomad. It's just not one of my favorite Maiden songs, but yeah. Other than that, I like the Nomad. It's just not one of my favorite Maiden songs, but yeah, Brave New World is definitely a fun. Yeah, I don't know what other albums I would say that are really, but yeah, definitely at the least at the top, Iron Man Somewhere in Time would probably be the #1 contender. What are your top 5 favorite movies and why? I'm not going to answer this as such either. I'll just say this: my favorite movie would probably still have to be Happy Gilmore. Say what you want about what Adam Sandler's career has become. Movies like that and Billy Madison were definitely some funny shit. And maybe it's partially nostalgia, but just something about Happy Gilmore. I just always laugh my ass off. So, yeah, that would definitely be my favorite movie. Don't know what I'd list under that, but yeah. Anyway, that's it for me. Actually took longer than I thought it would. If you got any more questions, throw them at me, and I will be happy to answer them. Assuming they're not dumb and retarded. You know who you are. Don't even think about it. Anyway, that's it for me. I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. Peace out.